Hey guys, what's up? It's Malls and the frog in my throat and my very messy bed. I wanted to discuss this new bill that passed on Friday that Obama himself said he's looking forward to signing, and it's basically all about tobacco regulation. And I will say, as someone who is see the coughing, it's really bad. I will say, as someone who has smoked for nearly 10 years now, that I'm really excited about this because I wouldn't say I started smoking out of ignorance to how bad it is for you, but I definitely think that I was seduced by a lot of things that have turned out to be untrue as I've gotten older. One of the things that this bill will ensure is that tobacco companies can no longer mark cigarettes as light or extra light or smooth or whatever. Anything that implies that they have less tobacco and nicotine content than they actually do. I've actually heard before that Marlboro Reds have less chemicals in them than Marlboro Lights, which I obviously think is fascinating because as a Marlboro Light smoker, I had to say I probably started smoking them thinking that they were less harmful to my health. Now, of course, this does raise the issue for a lot of people. What about, the First Amendment rights of the tobacco companies? As much as these companies have caused us citizens a lot of harm, they also have the same First Amendment rights as we do. So it brings into question, if the government is now controlling the First Amendment rights of certain companies, could they eventually do that to all of us? I think that this is a totally separate example. They've been going after the tobacco companies forever, and they're really just basically saying to the tobacco companies, look, you've got to use honest language. You've got to tell people exactly what they're putting in their bodies. And I'm saying this as a former smoker, someone who doesn't necessarily plan on quitting anytime soon, but who is someone who definitely understands the long-term effects that cigarettes have had on my life and will continue to have on my life. I also think it's great because Obama, as a former smoker, if not probably sometimes still occasional smoker, is saying himself, look, I understand that cigarettes have a place in America. We can't ban them. It's one thing to allow cigarettes to be legal. It's an entirely different thing to allow them to mislead people in their advertising and in the words they use. And that's a rule across the board that goes for things like children's television, and all sorts of advertising has been regulated in that regard. What I'm interested to hear is what other people think about this. Non-smokers, people who have had relatives who have been directly affected by smoking, people who have been affected by smoking themselves, and especially women. It's hard as a woman, to know that if you ever really want to have children, you're going to have to quit cigarettes at some point, unless you want really crazy, sick-looking babies. So let us know what you think about this in the comments, and good job, Senate. Good job, Barry. Good job, U.S. government. You passed a dope bill.